Good morning, everyone. Let me begin with a simple question. Have you ever noticed how two people can walk into the same room with the same background, the same resources, the same struggles, yet one commands respect instantly while the other fades into the background? The difference is not money, not clothes, not status. The difference is confidence. Today, I want to talk to you about a powerful idea: never look poor. Always be confident. Confidence is richer than money because money can be lost, taken, or fluctuate with time. But confidence is an internal asset that stays with you regardless of circumstances. A person may have limited financial resources, yet if they carry themselves with self-belief and clarity, they project strength, stability, and capability. People often assume that success creates confidence, but in reality, confidence is what invites opportunity. It shapes how others perceive you and, more importantly, how you perceive yourself when facing challenges, uncertainty, or rejection. Money can open doors, but confidence decides whether you walk through them. Two individuals can be given the same opportunity, the same platform, and the same resources. Yet, the one who trusts their abilities will extract more value from it. Confidence influences how clearly you communicate, how decisively you act, and how resilient you remain under pressure. In professional environments, people rarely follow the most qualified person. They follow the person who demonstrates belief in their vision. That belief becomes contagious and earns trust faster than credentials alone. When confidence is present, limitations feel temporary rather than permanent. A confident individual does not deny their lack of resources. They acknowledge it without letting it define them. They understand that current financial status is a phase, not an identity. This distinction is critical because identity drives behavior. If someone identifies as lacking, they operate from fear and hesitation. If they identify as capable, they operate from possibility and purpose. Confidence shifts focus from what is missing to what can be built. Confidence also impacts decision-making. Financial pressure often forces people into short-term thinking, reactive choices, and self-compromise. Confidence, on the other hand, allows for long-term perspective. It enables individuals to say no to situations that undervalue them and yes to challenges that stretch them. This discernment creates growth that money alone cannot guarantee. Many opportunities that later translate into financial gain are initially unpaid, uncertain, or uncomfortable. Only those with confidence are willing to invest effort before seeing results. In social and professional interactions, confidence establishes presence. Presence is not loudness or dominance, it is calm certainty. People are naturally drawn to those who appear comfortable in their own skin. This comfort signals emotional stability, competence, and leadership potential. Even in negotiations or high-stakes conversations, confidence often carries more weight than financial leverage. It sets the tone, influences outcomes, and creates respect. People may question your resources, but they rarely question your authority when confidence is consistently demonstrated. Confidence also protects dignity. Financial hardship can sometimes push individuals towards self-doubt, comparison, or embarrassment. Confidence acts as a shield against these psychological traps. It allows a person to stand tall without pretending, without exaggerating, and without apologizing for where they are in their journey. This authenticity builds credibility and attracts genuine support. People are more willing to help those who believe in themselves than those who constantly undermine their own worth. Perhaps the most valuable aspect of confidence is that it compounds over time. Each act of self-trust strengthens the next. Each challenge faced with confidence builds emotional capital that no amount of money can replicate. While wealth can provide comfort, confidence provides courage. Comfort may sustain life, but courage transforms it. Those who prioritize confidence create a foundation that supports both personal fulfillment and professional success. In the end, money is a tool, but confidence is a force. Tools depend on external conditions. Force comes from within. When confidence leads, financial growth often follows, but even when it does not, the individual remains empowered, resilient, and forward-moving. That is why confidence is richer than money it shapes. Not just what you have, but who you become. Attitude speaks before words because human beings instinctively read signals long before they process language. The way a person enters a room, maintains eye contact, listens, and carries. Their posture silently communicates confidence, intent, and self-worth. Long before introductions are made or ideas are shared, an impression is already formed. This unspoken communication often determines how seriously one is taken, how much trust is extended, and how receptive others become. In professional and personal settings alike, attitude acts as the first message sent, setting the emotional tone of every interaction that follows. A composed and positive attitude signals preparedness and self-respect. It reflects an internal belief that one belongs in the space they occupy. This belief does not need be announced. It is demonstrated through calmness under pressure, respect in disagreement, and attentiveness in conversation. People are naturally inclined to respond to those who appear centered, confident, because such behavior suggests reliability and competence. Even when expertise is equal, the individual with a stronger attitude often gains influence simply because they project assurance. Attitude also shapes how messages are received. The same words can be interpreted very differently depending on the energy behind them. A hesitant tone, closed body language, or defensive posture can weaken even the most well-prepared argument. Conversely, clarity of thought combined with steady presence can elevate simple ideas into compelling messages. This is why attitude often matters more than vocabulary or technical knowledge. It reinforces credibility and allows communication to land with greater impact. In challenging situations, attitude becomes even more visible. Stress, disagreement, and uncertainty reveal inner states that cannot be concealed by words alone. A constructive attitude in difficult moments demonstrates emotional intelligence and maturity. It shows the ability to respond rather than react, to remain solution-focused rather than problem-obsessed. Such behavior builds long-term respect and positions an individual as someone capable of handling responsibility. People tend to trust those who maintain composure when circumstances are unpredictable. Attitude is also closely linked to self-discipline. Consistency in behavior, punctuality, and accountability reflects an internal standard that others quickly recognize. These traits communicate seriousness and reliability without a single word being spoken. Over time, this silent communication builds a professional reputation that often opens doors more effectively than self-promotion. Opportunities frequently arise not because someone asked for them, but because their attitude made them an obvious choice. The internal nature of attitude makes it a powerful equalizer. While external factors such as background, resources, or experience may differ, attitude remains a personal choice. Choosing optimism over cynicism, responsibility over excuses, and curiosity over defensiveness changes how one is perceived and how one performs. This choice directly influences confidence, motivation, and resilience. A strong attitude sustains momentum even when outcomes are uncertain or progress feels slow. Attitude also affects how individuals perceive themselves. The signals sent outward are reflections of inner dialogue. A respectful and confident demeanor reinforces self-belief, creating a positive feedback loop. As self-perception improves, behavior becomes more intentional and focused. This alignment between internal belief and external expression enhances authenticity, which is highly valued. In leadership and collaboration, ultimately, attitude acts as a bridge between intention and impact. It determines whether ideas are ignored or embraced, whether presence is overlooked or remembered. Words may explain thoughts, but attitude reveals character. Those who understand and master this silent language gain an advantage that cannot be taught through instruction alone. It is developed through awareness, consistency, and a commitment to personal growth. and its influence extends far beyond the first impression. Circumstances have a powerful influence on perception, but they do not have the authority to define a person unless that authority is surrendered. Every individual at some stage of life encounters limitations in the form of financial pressure, professional setbacks, social judgment, or personal loss. These situations can either become sources of strength or reasons for withdrawal. The difference lies in whether one allows circumstances to shrink their sense of self. Maintaining confidence during challenging phases is not denial of reality. It is a deliberate refusal to let temporary conditions dictate long-term identity. Difficult situations often arrive without warning and linger longer than expected. They test patience, resilience, and belief. In such moments, many people unconsciously internalize their struggles, allowing external hardship to translate into internal doubt. This is where growth either begins or stalls. When circumstances are allowed to shrink perspective, individuals begin to lower expectations, avoid visibility, and settle for less than they are capable of achieving. The loss is not only external opportunity but internal momentum, which is far harder to regain. Confidence during adversity sends a strong signal, both internally and externally. Internally, it reinforces the understanding that challenges are experiences, not definitions. Externally, it communicates stability and self-respect. People may not always understand the depth of someone's struggle, but they respond to how that person carries it. A composed presence during hardship often earns trust, patience, and support. It demonstrates emotional maturity and an ability to operate beyond immediate discomfort. Circumstances tend to narrow thinking, pushing individuals into survival mode. While survival is necessary, remaining there for too long limits creativity and vision. Confidence counteracts this narrowing effect by keeping attention on possibility rather than restriction. It allows individuals to continue thinking strategically, learning actively, and preparing for future opportunities even when current conditions are unfavorable. This forward orientation is what separates those who recover quickly from those who remain stuck long after. The situation has changed. Refusing to be diminished by circumstances also preserves dignity. Financial difficulty, professional rejection, or personal failure can erode self-respect if not handled with awareness. Confidence protects against this erosion by anchoring self-worth in values and effort rather than outcome. It enables individuals to ask for help without shame, to accept feedback without defensiveness, and to persist without resentment. These qualities sustain progress when external validation is absent. There is also a compounding effect to confidence maintained under pressure. Each moment of choosing self-belief over self-pity strengthens mental resilience. Over time, this resilience becomes a reliable internal resource, allowing individuals to face new challenges with greater composure. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable, not because circumstances improve immediately, but because the individual's capacity to respond expands. Professionally, those who do not allow circumstances to shrink them remain visible and relevant. They continue to contribute, communicate, and develop skills despite limitation. This consistency often places them in a position of readiness when opportunities reappear. Many careers advance not during periods of comfort, but because of how individuals behave during periods of constraint. Confidence ensures that potential is preserved until conditions align. At a deeper level, refusing to be defined by circumstances affirms personal agency. It reinforces the belief that while situations may be uncontrollable, responses are always within choice. This belief restores a sense of control and direction, reducing feelings of helplessness and stagnation. It keeps motivation intact and effort purposeful even when results are delayed. Ultimately, circumstances are chapters, not the entire story. Allowing them to shrink identity is a costly mistake, one that limits growth far beyond the duration of the challenge itself. Confidence ensures continuity of purpose, clarity of self, and strength of character regardless of external pressure. It allows individuals to move through difficulty without losing themselves in it, preserving the inner foundation required for lasting progress. Confidence, arrogance are often mistaken for one another because both can appear as assertiveness on the surface, yet they originate from entirely different internal states. Confidence is rooted in self-awareness and self-acceptance, while arrogance is driven by insecurity and the need for external validation. A confident individual does not feel threatened by the success, opinions, or presence of others. An arrogant individual, however, relies on comparison and dominance to maintain a fragile sense of superiority. Understanding this distinction is essential for developing influence without alienation. Confidence expresses itself quietly. It does not demand attention or approval because it is already secure within. This inner stability allows a person to listen actively, acknowledge differing viewpoints, and remain open to learning. Arrogance, in contrast, resists feedback and often dismisses perspectives that challenge its narrative. Where confidence invites collaboration, arrogance creates distance. In professional environments, this difference becomes especially visible as teams gravitate toward individuals who elevate collective performance rather than assert personal importance. A confident person recognizes their strengths without exaggeration and their weaknesses without denial. This balanced self-perception fosters credibility. Admitting limitations does not diminish authority, it enhances trust. People are more willing to engage with leaders and colleagues who demonstrate honesty about their capabilities and a willingness to grow. Arrogance avoids vulnerability at all costs, often masking gaps in competence with overconfidence or dismissive behavior. Over time, this erodes respect and restricts meaningful progress. Humility plays a central role in true confidence. Humility is not self-deprecation. It is an accurate understanding of one's place within a larger context. Confident individuals appreciate contributions from others and recognize that success is rarely achieved in isolation. They give credit freely and accept responsibility willingly. Arrogance, however, seeks recognition without accountability. It claims success and deflects failure, creating an imbalance that others quickly notice. This imbalance undermines trust and limits long-term influence. The way challenges are handled further separates confidence from arrogance. When faced with obstacles or criticism, confidence remains composed and solution-oriented. Feedback is processed as information rather than insult. This emotional regularity allows confident individuals to adapt and improve continuously. Arrogance reacts defensively, perceiving challenges as threats to identity. This reaction often leads to conflict, stagnation, and missed opportunity for growth. Confidence also promotes respect in communication. It does not require being the loudest voice in the room to be effective. Clear articulation, thoughtful pauses, and attentive listening convey assurance more powerfully than dominance. Arrogance often confuses volume with authority, mistaking interruption and insistence for leadership. Over time, such behavior diminishes influence as people disengage rather than collaborate. In leadership and professional advancement, confidence sustains longevity. It builds relationships based on mutual respect and shared purpose. Arrogance may achieve short-term visibility, but it struggles to maintain long-term support. People follow confidence because it feels safe and inspiring. They tolerate arrogance only temporarily, often out of obligation rather than loyalty. True confidence creates space for others to grow. It does not compete unnecessarily or seek constant affirmation. By remaining grounded and open, confident individuals foster environments where ideas can be exchanged freely and innovation can thrive. This ability to empower others is one of the strongest indicators of authentic confidence. Arrogance, by contrast, narrows possibility by prioritizing ego over outcome, recognizing the difference bet. Win confidence and arrogance allows individuals to lead with strength without sacrificing connection. It ensures that self-belief enhances character rather than distorting it. When confidence is grounded in humility and awareness, It becomes a stabilizing force that earns respect, builds trust, and supports sustained personal and professional growth. Confidence is often misunderstood as a prerequisite for action, when in reality, it is a result of action taken repeatedly in the face of uncertainty. Many individuals delay progress because they wait to feel fully prepared, fully capable, or fully assured before moving forward. This hesitation creates a cycle where inaction reinforces doubt, and doubt further discourages action. Breaking this cycle requires a shift in understanding. Confidence is not a start point, but a byproduct of experience. Action provides evidence. Each step taken, regardless of outcome, generates information that reshapes self-perception. When individuals act despite uncertainty, they prove to themselves that they are capable of navigating discomfort and unpredictability. This proof builds internal trust, which is the foundation of confidence. Waiting for confidence without action offers no such evidence, leaving fear unchallenged and assumption untested. Small, consistent actions are particularly powerful in building confidence. They reduce the perceived risk while still expanding capability. Speaking up in a meeting, initiating a difficult conversation, or attempting a new skill creates exposure that gradually normalizes challenge. Over time, what once felt intimidating becomes manageable. Confidence grows not through dramatic leaps, but through steady engagement with situations that stretch current comfort zones. Action also reframes failure. Without action, failure remains an abstract fear, often exaggerated and paralyzing. Through action, failure becomes a concrete event that can be analyzed, learned from, and integrated into growth. This reframing diminishes fear and increases resilience. Individuals who act regularly develop a more realistic understanding of risk and consequence, enabling them to move forward with greater composure and clarity. In professional contexts, action signals initiative and reliability. Organizations value individuals who are willing to take responsibility, experiment thoughtfully, and learn in real time. Confidence developed through action manifests as decisiveness and adaptability, qualities that are essential in dynamic environments. Those who wait for certainty often miss opportunities that favor momentum over perfection. Action, even when imperfect, keeps individuals visible and relevant. Action also strengthens competence. Skills are not refined through contemplation alone. They are sharpened through application. Each attempt deepens understanding and improves execution. As competence increases, confidence follows naturally. This relationship underscores the importance of practice. Persistence. Confidence grounded in demonstrated ability is far more stable than confidence based on assumption or external validation. Emotional regulation is another outcome of action-based confidence. Repeated exposure to challenge trains individuals to manage stress, uncertainty, and pressure more effectively. They learn that discomfort is temporary and survivable. This realization reduces anxiety and increases self-assurance. Confidence, in this sense, becomes less about feeling fearless and more about trusting one's ability to respond effectively. Action also creates momentum. Progress, however incremental, reinforces motivation and focus. Momentum reduces overthinking by shifting attention from potential outcomes to present effort. This shift fosters clarity and engagement, allowing individuals to remain grounded in execution rather than speculation. Confidence thrives in this state of purposeful movement. Ultimately, confidence built through action is resilient because it is rooted in lived experience. It does not disappear when circumstances change or when external validation fades. It remains intact because it is supported by a history of engagement, learning, and adaptation. Those who understand that action precedes confidence free themselves from the limitations of doubt and hesitation, enabling sustained growth and meaningful achievement. Belief is the internal framework through which individuals interpret their abilities, opportunities, and limitations. Before results appear in any tangible form, they are first shaped by perception and expectation. When individuals believe in their value and potential, they approach situations with a sense of readiness rather than hesitation. This belief influences behavior in subtle but powerful ways, determining how much effort is invested, how consistently actions are taken, and how challenges are interpreted along the way. Belief directs focus. Those who trust in their capabilities tend to notice possibilities rather than obstacles. This does not mean they ignore risks or difficulties, but they view them as manageable rather than defining. As a result, their energy is directed toward preparation and problem solving instead of doubt and self-protection. This focus leads to higher quality decisions and sustained effort, both of which are essential for achieving meaningful results. The relationship between belief and behavior is cyclical. Strong belief encourages action, and action reinforces belief. When individuals expect progress, they are more likely to persist through initial setbacks. This persistence increases exposure to learning and refinement, which in turn improves performance. Over time, these incremental improvements accumulate into measurable outcomes. What appears externally as success often begins internally as consistent self-trust. Belief also shapes how individuals respond to feedback and failure. Those with a strong internal belief system are less likely to interpret setbacks as personal deficiencies. Instead, they see them as part of a process. This perspective preserves motivation and emotional balance rather than withdrawing after disappointment. They reassess, adjust, and continue. This adaptability is a key factor in long-term achievement and distinguishes those who progress steadily from those who stall after early resistance. In professional environments, belief influences visibility and influence. Individuals who believe in their contributions are more willing to share ideas, take initiative, and assume responsibility. Their engagement signals commitment and readiness, which often leads to greater trust and opportunity. Results follow not because belief alone creates success, but because belief drives the behaviors that produce it. Managers and leaders tend to invest in those who demonstrate self-assurance, combined with accountability. Belief also affects standards. When individuals value themselves, they set higher expectations for the quality of their work and the integrity of their choices. They are less inclined to accept roles, conditions, or outcomes that conflict with their long-term goals. This selectivity guides them toward environments that support growth and development. Over time, these aligned choices contribute to more meaningful and sustainable results. The absence of belief often results in self-limiting behavior. Even when opportunities are present, doubt can prevent full engagement. Individuals may underprepare, withdraw prematurely, or avoid challenge altogether. This creates a disconnect between potential and performance. By contrast, belief acts as a stabilizing force, enabling individuals to remain committed even when external affirmation is limited. Belief does not require certainty about outcomes. It requires confidence in one's ability to respond. This distinction is crucial. When belief is grounded in adaptability rather than guaranteed success, it becomes resilient. Individuals remain open to learning and adjustment, maintaining momentum regardless of fluctuations in progress. This resilience allows belief to sustain effort over time, increasing the likelihood of favorable results. Ultimately, results are rarely accidental. They are the outcome of repeated choices influenced by internal conviction. Belief sets the direction, informs the pace, and sustains the journey. When individuals believe first, they create the conditions for results to emerge naturally through consistent action, thoughtful decision-making, and sustained engagement. So let me leave you with this thought. You may not control where you started, but you absolutely control how you show up. Never look poor in mindset. Never look defeated in spirit. Carry yourself with dignity, speak with belief, and walk with purpose. Because when you choose confidence, you send a message to the world, and more importantly, to yourself, that you are ready for more. Stand tall, believe deeply, and always be confident. Thank you